Hello everyone and welcome to RedHawks Weekly on location at Newman Outdoor Field. A little bit of rain falling here on this Tuesday. Joined by Eric Peterson as always. I'm Jody Norstedt. We have our special guest Joe Staley, a RedHawks catcher and also DH, and also plays a little bit of first base for the RedHawks. Joe, a first-year RedHawks player. Let's talk about this thing because it's slipping right now. The team is 7-17. We're about a quarter way through the season. But really, they're still not out of it. I think it'd be about 7.5 games out of a wild card spot right now. So things can turn in a hurry. We've seen that with this team before in the past, but the time is now probably.
Yeah, you just can't keep on sliding. You know, like you said, 7.5 out of wild card, but there's a lot of teams, you know, packed between the RedHawks and the top of that wild card spot. So this is the time to make a move. It just, to this part of the season, from what I've seen, it just hasn't fit. You know, what the team hits, the pitching's not there. Team pitches well, the defense isn't there, so I think it's a matter they got to just get everything calibrated on the same page and start stringing off, you know, winning 2 out of 3, maybe sweeping a series here and there, and starting, you know, climbing back to that 500 mark.
Joe, we expect the answers from you. What the heck is going on here, and what's it gonna take to get this thing turned around?
Well, you know, I think it's kind of like you said. We're missing when we're hitting, we're not pitching. When we're pitching, we're not hitting, and I think it takes doing the small things right. You know, baseball's a game of inches, and if we can really focus on, you know, maybe the pitchers holding them to 3-4 runs a game and giving us the offense a chance to really start producing, I think that's going to help out a lot. You know, you struggle to score runs when you're down by a lot, and you struggle to hold them when you're not hitting. So it's, you know, it's a catch-22. Yep. So.
You got a burning question, I know, inside you.
Well,
right
let's
now.
get to the real thing here. You know, we can talk about baseball and all this stuff, but Joe is an expert in pig hunting. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I don't think that's something that gets hunted much up here, but down in Texas, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you know, we've got a lot of pigs. I think we've got 7 million pigs, I think is what they estimate down there, and they're running around everywhere. It's bad for crops. They'll tear up fields and stuff, but yeah, you know, pig hunting's kind of a big deal down there, and my brother and I do a lot of it, enter some competitions every year, and you know, it can be a little dangerous every now and then, but you just, you know, bring a bigger gun, so that's how it works.
What's your best pig hunting story? Have there been any close calls, or have you been charged by one of these things? I mean, what goes on when you're doing this stuff? You know,
yeah, I mean, there's some close calls. I was down in down by Houston on the Brazos River, and there was a big old, probably about a 300-pound boar one time that we put a few rounds into, and he didn't go down. He kept coming at us, and we ended up dropping him about 10 feet from us. So it was pretty exciting, you know.
What's it like to come face to face with a 300-pound boar? This thing's got to be huge coming at you.
It is. They're big and they're fast and they're mean. You know, the boars, they have a shoulder plate that's several inches thick, and so a lot of times you can't even penetrate them. But it's a scary thing, you know. You've got to be on top of it and make sure you're shooting good. So
that sounds scary to me. Absolutely scary. Again, you're from around Frisco, Texas, so that's where all the pigs are. Didn't you play for the Grand Prairie Air Hogs for a little bit too? You know, there's some irony.
Yeah, I briefly did for a couple weeks. Actually, after I retired from the Giants, it was close to home, and I wanted to, you know, kind of keep playing a little bit, and I played for a couple weeks, and I decided I wasn't ready to get back into it yet. So
you're from around the Frisco area. Obviously, any NDSU fan that's watching this, they've either probably been down there or they've probably heard Frisco is pretty much Fargo South with what the NDSU football team has done, 4-time national champs. But tell us a little bit about the area from your side, because you live about 10 miles, I think, out of town of Frisco, don't you?
Yeah, I live in Salina on some land out there, and Frisco's a great area. You know, it's kind of, it started out as a suburb of Dallas. You know, it's about 30 miles north of Dallas, I guess, and everything's moving that way. You know, it's kind of in the middle of what they call Dallas's Golden North Corridor, and all the money, everything's moving that way, jobs and everything. So it's a very nice area.
Well, we have a treat today because Joe's going to take us into the clubhouse. We don't get that kind of access with the media, but we're going to get a look here as Joe Staley is going to take us to the RedHawks clubhouse. So here we are down outside the team's locker room, and Joe's going to show us around. Joe, you probably don't spend too much time in here, do you?
Not a whole lot, man. You know, a little bit before the game, but usually when I'm here, I'm trying to hit or, you know, get some extra work in. So
check it out.
All right.
So what do we got here? Fat boys?
You know, I don't really know what this is. This is just kind of a random spot of nothing.
All right, so this is, I'd imagine, where the locker room is down here.
You got the washroom here. It's where all of our laundry gets done. Thanks to Bambino, our great clubby. Been here for, I think, 10 years maybe. Yeah, this is the locker room. You know, everybody's got their own locker. You know, pretty decent sized lockers. Catchers usually get their in locker. Mine happens to be right here because I came in late this season, or right at the end of spring training. But you know, we got our stuff to hang here. Our little cabinet there for anything valuable if we want to put it in there. And yeah, so this is the lockers, and keep our bats and extra gloves and all that stuff in here. So,
how does this rate to some of the clubhouses that you've been in before?
You know, I'd say it's probably about midway up the scale. You know, some of the best thing about a clubhouse is really having a lot of space, a lot of room. You know, stuff to put your stuff when you're showering. You know, you're not right next to guys when you're getting dressed and stuff. So, you know, and this is not a bad clubhouse at all. You know, I mean, there's clubhouses that are bigger, a little more space, maybe a little bit cleaner, but this is a good place. So,
when you get to become a guy that's played a few years at either affiliated ball or independent ball, do you still get the nerves before a game? I mean, take us through when it's about an hour before game time. What's going through your mind?
Well, you know, depending on the day, it's a little bit different. You know, I mean, mentally, you know, to get ready catching is a little bit different than mentally get ready, you know, DHing. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, my first at bat is always you know, that's where my nerves are going. I've got the energy and the adrenaline, and you know, after that first at bat, I usually calm down and kind of settle in. But yeah, I mean, as much as you've played, if you're not getting that adrenaline rush, you know, a little bit of the butterfly still, then you know, I don't know if you should still be playing, because that's part of the game. You know, you got to have that energy and desire to play. So
perfect. How have you liked your time so far with the RedHawks?
It's been great. It's been great. You know, we've got a great coaching staff. Doug's done well. You know, I mean, you know, they rushed me in. I think I got here the day before we actually started the season. So the guys have been great, though. Like I said, we mesh well together, and it's been very enjoyable. So,
well, that's your look inside the RedHawks clubhouse. Like to thank Joe for joining me. We'll see you next time on RedHawks Weekly.